Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Delighted as always to be joined by Paul Smith. Paul, it's been a minute. How's business anyway? How's the coffee shop running?
It's going well. It's not. I'm not here much. Well, I'm here, but I've never been on there working. When my missus runs it all and does everything for us, and the staff are great. It's not here. It's not me. I come in and eat all the profits. To be honest with you, and drink all the profits. But no, when I was boxing, I always just sit in coffee shops most days, and I was wanted to try and get one when I retired, and I thought, why put the people's sales? I might as well have one of my own. It's something that we want to do, but it's nice food as well.
Yeah.
So I just come in and rob the Wi-Fi and rob the coffee and the food.
I was going to say, people forget, like, after boxing, you just, unless you've got like plans, you're sort of with your own thoughts. I know you've kept yourself busy and you've fighters to train, managing fighters, and you've got this. Is this sort of how you imagined it kind of be when you hung up the gloves eventually, that you can still dip your toe in boxing by doing what you're doing, but then other businesses and things like that?
Yeah, I think I knew when I retired that I'd always be in boxing some way or other. You give your life to boxing, you learn everything. It's all a know technically, and it's all a lot of people who fight now. And you sort of, if I put 30 years of experience into computer coding or something, then I'd be very, very capable at computer coding, and I should know probably nearly all there is to know about it. So why would I want to go into building when I'm, a computer coder? And it's the same with boxing. It's the same with all sports. You see the footballers and you give their life to football. You sit and watch a game of football with a footballer. They read the game totally different to how you do and how I do. Because footballers, that knowledge is you can't buy that. You've learned that up, built that up. You've built a database up in your brain of how you see that sport. You're an expert in that sport. Now all of a sudden you're too old to play it. Now see you later. You got to go and you can't do nothing with it. So it's a shame that sports are like that. Boxing is definitely like that. But I've learned a lot in boxing. I've been doing this since I was 9 years of age. I'm 41 now, and it's a lot of experience, amateur and pro, at every single level that we've been involved in fighting in some way or another. And to just walk away from it and not be able to earn a living from that, or not be able to pass that on, or use that, or guide other people with that, would be criminal. So I'm lucky. I don't like saying too much, but it's true. You're blessed in a way that you can still provide something in a sport and learn and earn from a sport that you've given your life to as well.
I tell you what, just looking back, one of the moments of your career, there was a clip that's come up recently. I've been wanting to ask you about it. Andre Ward sat with Eddie Hearn, and they talk about that fight week, which you went over there, and they talk about the missing weight. Eddie Hearn recalls it and says there was a moment at the end of the fight where he has a chat with Andre Ward, and apparently this is from their version of events. So
yeah. I've just seen it recorded before.
It's about the fine.
It's true. He come over to me in the ring after the fight also, and I said, look, the weight wasn't intentional. I fucked up the weight. That was my fault. That's something I'll have to live with the rest of my life. It's something I have lived with. It's something that I'm not happy about. I wasn't happy about, but you don't remember sort of facts or events. You remember the feelings. I remember how I felt. I remember what was going on. I remember the circumstances and the situation around the fight and the camp and the training and the time frame of it all. And it was an opportunity to fight in America at top of the bill against Andre Ward. And you have to be an idiot to turn that down. It was for the biggest payday that I had in my career as well. And there's no way I was missing that fight regardless of what happens. And I got it wrong. I messed up with the weight and that was it. That's one of them things, but it wasn't intentional. But the thing he said to me in the ring was, "You've got a baby on the way, haven't you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, the fine's not. I'm not taking the fine." And I thanked him for it because I was trying to say to him even in the way, and it wasn't intentional. I'll be there tomorrow and I'm going to try my best to fight. Realistically and theoretically, it didn't work out that way because he's absolutely class, but he's also a class fellow. But I'd like to think that, from what he said, he doesn't keep in touch with many fighters that he's fought. I've bumped into him a few times and socialised with him, follows me on social media, vice versa, and always wish him the best and vice versa, because me and my family were good people and are good people, and fight week, it was never disrespectful, it was never, animosity as such. It was a fight, it was a job that I was there to do. I remember the press conference when I first met at the press conference. I was thinking, I wonder how he's going to be, because it's 8 weeks before the fight. We're in New York, me and my dad were in New York. With Whoopi Goldberg in the same room as us. She was announcing us on stage at the BET Awards and things. I remember thinking, like, I've seen him with a bit of attitude in the past towards fighters, but that's what's needed. Obviously, you need to have that attitude. I knew he couldn't stand Carl Thrasher. He fought. I know he beat everyone that he's been in the ring with, Abraham, all the likes and the others. But he come over to me and shook my hand. So when I shook his hand and said, all the best, good luck with your training camp, and I'll see you in June. And he said the same thing. And he was with his wife. I was with my dad. He shook hands with my dad. Said, look, my dad. And that's how the game should be. And when you get in the ring, it all gets put aside. You have a fight, but after it, then you can be, you'll certainly respect each other a lot more, if not be friends. And that's how it's been with me and him. And what you see about him all the time, for me, there's no act with him. But he's genuine, and that's why I liked him in the first place. Yeah. And to share the ring with someone like him was a privilege, albeit a painful one. But he's a class man inside and outside the ring. He's a man of God. He's a family man like yourself, and that's all you can ask for someone.
What a good story to come out of boxing. We see a lot of things. We always, myself included, we often talk about, some of the negative sides, but, two family men sort of that came together, and he wasn't, because a lot of fighters would just be like, yeah, I'm taking that money, rah, rah, rah. And, I suppose in a way they maybe feel like, yeah, look, you've messed that, I'm taking this. But he was gracious enough to have that moment with me. So I think that's good.
My little girl was 9 the other day, and on the 22nd of August. So obviously that was 8 years ago, I think, or 9. And my wife was pregnant with our little girl at the time, and he said, they were the words, what he said to me. He said, you got a baby on the... I said, look, thank you for, thank you. He said, you've got a baby on the way. He said, the family man too. He said, I got paid, I got paid well for the fight, and you should get yours. And it was a nice touch. All the stuff I'm seeing now about him, he never got enough praise and enough credit for what he did in boxing, and maybe it'll start now. And when they start looking back, you look back at the caliber of fighters that he beat. You know what I mean? And you're still to find the resume like in. I think he's still the last American gold medalist as well in the Olympics. Yeah. Which is, I think it's the case anyway. I don't think they've won a gold medal since him.
I think that is the case. Also, is what you find that in boxing, don't you? Though, when people do knock it on the head, and you realise sort of what we had as fans, maybe we don't always appreciate like the people that are fighting now. Like, for instance, you see it a lot we spoke about before. Look at Canelo's resume. He's fought everyone, but he's seemingly getting labelled like a ducker for not fighting Benavidez just now. But yeah, there's still time for that fight.
He's getting called that by people who've never been in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's getting called up by fans who, whether they be American, whether they be British, whether they be even, I can't see many Mexicans having a go at him. And I've had the chat with a few Mexicans who were just boxing fans who didn't box when we were in MSCO with Liam that time, and they were like, look, we love Chavez because Chavez was good with the people. Canelo, we may not love him as much as we love Chavez, but we respect him in his art, and that's how they see him as well. But to say he's ducked anyone, it literally makes the eyes roll to the back of your head when you think about it. Like, do you not see who beat and how he's done it, and the fighters that he's beat? Just in this country alone, the fighters that he's beat, never mind all the others from all around the world.
There's always someone else as well. Like, if he fought Benavidez, beat Benavidez, it'd be a David Morrell, it'd be someone else they want him to fight, and you can't go on forever. But look, he's got a tough fight coming up. Edgar Berlanga sort of feels like it's his time. There's Puerto Rico versus Mexico. It's his moment. You always have that fight in your career where you take a step up. It is a big step up from the level he's fought at. But he's there, he's game, he's going to come try and win. Canelo did well against Jaime Munguia. I believe a knockdown in that fight, pushed the pace. Still a lot left in the tank, I think. What do you make of Canelo Berlanga?
35-0, unbeaten Mexican world champion who's beat some very good fighters as well. My brother included, Liam, very good fighter. And Canelo beats, and that's what I'm saying. It's like he'll, in my opinion, he'll beat Berlanga well, and I think he'll look well against him. And I think it's not as tough a fight as some of them that he's had. Now, listen, that could come back to haunt me and bite me on the arse, but I don't think it will. But if he beats him, it'll be, well, Mayweather beats him easy. It'll always sort of be fans going back to sort of like the negative, and that's what a lot of them do. Listen, there's some great boxing fans out there. The majority of boxing fans are good.
Yeah.
There's just a couple of just bad critics and bad apples that negate it for everyone, and bring boxing fans down as a whole to the point where some boxers won't even engage with them. They just think, like, why would they do it? Look at Canelo's a classic example. He's Canelo. He's done what he's done in boxing. He's literally I'd love to know the amount of money that he's made in total, but it's fortunes. He'll be getting close to $1 billion sometime. I'm just actually looking out the window at Nick Paul walking past there.
Another champion.
I've bumped into him a few times this week. The kid's flying in. He's doing really well. He's a nice lad as well. He's doing good. Canelo, the amount of money he's made in boxing from fights alone, never mind any deals, sponsorship or marketing. That's what kids, that's what young up-and-coming fighters would aspire to be. But men in general and women in general, that's a business brain where he's absolutely smashed life and he's set for life, both financially, both in every way. And people are still finding a way to tag him down because he hasn't chosen one fight that they think they'd like to see. You know what I mean? There's a lot of bitterness in the world, and it's not really called for.
No, you mentioned there the business-minded Canelo. I watched the podcast that he went on, and he says, everything. I take 80% of everything. That food that you buy, that's like he's almost as well as he fought Floyd. He has that Mayweather model of, you know what? No, when I know I'm bringing the money in, I'm taking all this, which is great. Look, I want to.
And look at it this way. Let's go back to what we were talking about with Andre Ward. I know Canelo's very similar. Two of my brothers have fought Canelo. When he was fighting the youngest one, Callum, after he'd already beat the first one, Liam, we were walking in through to either the press conference, the media day, or whatever it was in a hotel when we're all in lockdown in the bubble. He comes straight over to Liam, shook his hand, gave him a hug, shook hands with all of us. Now, you're going to take them fights because you're not thinking about giving a payday out. You want to fight them and try and beat them and take the belt from them, obviously, which Canelo did because he's unbelievable. But you've got a 10 times more chance of getting that fight if you're respectful and you're polite and you sort of, just worry about yourself rather than slagging him off. Like, look at how he is with maybe Billy Joe Saunders. I thought it was a very good fight. I thought Billy Joe did great. But how he is with him and the things he still says about him now, it's like it's a bit harsh sometimes when you see, but that's his attitude towards people who disrespect him, and you've got to sort of respect that in a way. And when the mutual respect is there, you've got more chance of getting these fights. Like Benavidez, calling him out the way he's calling him out. He might never get the fight for that reason. You know what I mean? And the way he's being in the press and that. I understand fighters do that to get fights. I've got no complaints about it whatsoever because that's how you see fights made sometimes. But I think that the likes of Canelo, or maybe the greats of the modern day boxing era at the moment, you've probably got more chance of getting a fight if you're respectful and just saying that as it is rather than the person stuff.
Because they look at it as, look, we know what we're bringing. We know how this is going to change our life kind of thing. Actually, I don't want to give you that payday. But I remember you spoke about Liam there. I was in Vegas can't remember if it was the Golovkin fight. I was there for that and the Bivol fight. And I saw Liam in the Grand Arrival area. Yeah. And I spoke to him and he goes, he's come out of his limo, Canelo, just before he's walking into the hotel. And he's like, how you doing? Rah, 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 shaking hands. And this is after, obviously, they fought. So just shows you've done it, like, respect goes a long way. But look, I want to talk about Liam. Liam's got a big fight coming up. How's he getting on? Obviously, this card, this Riyadh season card's crazy, top to bottom, like great fights. That's one of them. How's Liam getting on in preparation for Josh?
He's doing well. I honestly haven't spoke to him much in the last couple of weeks, to be fair. The lads are all telling me how he's doing. He's doing really good, and he's got the bit between his teeth now. He's really, his injuries have stayed away, thank God, and he's got the bit between his teeth and I heard good reports from the gym. But he's been abroad saying he's getting a warm at the training. It's the middle of August here, but if I turn the camera out to show the wind, it doesn't look like August. But the rain's out. It's terrible weather all the time. But he's over there training, and the team are over there. They're all doing the work. As you say, it's a big fight, and it's a fight that I've seen as far as before. Liam knows what he brings to the table. Josh Kelly will know what he brings to the table, and will fancy his chances. But if everything goes to plan as it should, then I can see Liam, really getting a bit spiteful in this fight. And he's got a lot to prove to people. Josh Kelly's a good fighter, and he's a nice lad as well. We all sort of offered for Liam in our fight night. As we've been saying on this meeting, in this call, this Zoom, sorry, the respect will always be there for both and from both sides. But on the night, I think Liam will be trying his best to do a job to stop Josh Kelly.
Top of the bill, Joshua Dubois. I know your focus is primarily on Liam, and look, regardless of whatever happens that night, if Liam comes away with victory, happy days for you boys. But in terms of the top of the bill. We've seen a resurgence in Daniel Dubois. In terms of the last two opponents, I believe he probably went in as underdog against Hrgovic and Baby Miller. And look, he's come out well. He suffered a lot of adversity. So has AJ. But look, they're both coming together. What do you think happens? Break it down for us.
I've been one of the biggest critics of Dubois after I watched him with Joyce, and then after I watched him sort of take the knee again. And I've always said, once that's in you, it's in you. And I stand by that. And I think it is in him. He's been brilliant in his last fight. He proved me wrong in his last fight. Every credit to him. I think the safe money is on a Joshua knockout. I think the safe money is on Joshua probably within 5 or 6 rounds. That's just my opinion, obviously, of what I would think would be safe money. But he proved me wrong in the last fight. But I think, you know, once he starts feeling Joshua's power, then the question will be asked of him, and it's whether, obviously, he's still there. As I say, he's had a little resurgence recently. I don't know whether it's a shape-up in training, a bit of confidence gain from his wins that he's had, or his attitude's been changed a little bit. But as I say, when it comes down to it, when it gets tough, I've seen him sort of look for the way out twice, and that's just me as a boxing fan, maybe being a little bit critical of him. But it's something that I've seen and that I can't unsee, and that will always form my opinion on how I think fights will go, especially against someone who's a made to this puncher like Canelo Joshua.
Well, let's see what happens. We're gonna have someone there for fight week. Hopefully, we'll catch up with yourself, Liam, and the whole crew in person. But look, I appreciate you jumping on and giving us time and bearing with the connections. The first original Zoom call was going to look a lot more different than this. This is quite a crisp picture, so I'm quite happy. So yeah,
there's a couple of masks broken in the Pool City Centre. I've been out of bed when I'm in the shop. When I'm in here, you struggle to get a signal. And I don't know where the masks are broken. They keep emailing us telling them they're going to fix them, but the Wi-Fi is suffering because of it. Everyone else is suffering. It's a joke, but it's all right.
Just quickly before you go, Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool fan. I know you are as well. What do you make of the start of the season? Slot ball. It's not heavy metal rock and roll like we used to, but it seems like we're maybe more efficient. I don't know. It's early days, but what do you make of that?
Possibly. Listen, I'm not a football expert. This is what frustrates me when I see people doing it in boxing. I've been going to matches since I was 5. I've got a couple of season tickets in the ground. I go every game with my lads, and I hold my hand to take my auntie down there. I try and get to the away ones. I'm going United this week. You know, I speak about football with a couple of pros or a couple of ex-pros, and when they talk, I just hold my mouth. I'm like, what do you reckon on this? And they're breaking it down for me, and I'm buzzing and I'm privileged to listen to like what's going on the training ground, because there's a little insight there, and I wouldn't dream of saying like, no, I think this. But what I'm hearing is he's tactically more astute than maybe what Klopp was, and more sort of not qualified, but more sort of better tactically, but pressing. Obviously, Klopp was the best at that, and was probably not better at him in the world than that. And we're seeing a little bit of it on the pitch. I watched the last friendly game. That's the first game I've seen. I watched it for I was at Brentford on Sunday. As I said, I'm going to United. Fingers crossed we can do something at United and get a result there. But the way he's playing, it's a bit more people. It's a bit more maybe attractive. You know, there's a couple of times where I was looking next to me, I thinking that was good. One, I like the way they're playing out from the back. Got me a little bit nervous, but that's what everyone's doing with the new change in the law, with the goal kicks now as well. That's what everyone's doing. So it's one of them things. You're only going to get better at it by practicing it, by doing it more. And if a fighter tries to change his style a little bit to adapt to one fight, he's going to get better by doing that for 12 weeks in the gym, and then sign on fight night. So if that's what they're doing on the training field and on the pitch and training, then that's what we'll carry into the games. But got to be open-minded, I think. I would really love us to win the league every year, but we're realistically, theoretically not going to do that. If we can have a good goal and get top 4 this season, I'd take that now. But I said that at the start of last season. I had the top 4 last season. I'd pick your hands off. And the fact that we had a little tiny bit of a run-in towards a month before the end of the season, that was brilliant.
Give it a go, didn't we? I think the back end of last we did give it a go all season, but Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to take time, patience, but yeah.
I'll take top four now for Champions League.
Yes.
You know, if we can have a good little run in the cups, I'd be delighted with that. But I think this season is a transitional season, in my opinion. This Chiesa, looks good with the new signing Juventus. I think it's done. I've just read something before, and that keeper that we've got for next season.
Yeah. I tell you what,
we've got that keeper though. I don't want a good backup option. I want to rely on Alisson a bit more.
I just want Alisson to sign, and I don't care how old they are. Even Van Dijk, get him another year. Like, he's still, even though he's not what everyone calls prime, for me,
it's Salah. We've got to
still better.
We've got to look after Salah and get him signed up, because just even the first 2 games, he scored both of them. He scored on the opening day of the season for 8 or 9 seasons on the bounce now. You know, you're going to struggle to replace that. And for what you're going to pay him, or what he'll be asking for in wages,
you're not going to get
when
that.
it comes to business, we should be paying it. You know, I think. But again, I'm not an expert, so it's one of them things. I'm just a fan, and I've got my opinion, and my opinion will mean absolutely nothing to them who are doing it or who are in charge of them decisions.
That Chiesa adds good depth, and if we can keep him somewhat injury-free, I've seen about him from the Euros, like not the last one, the one prior, and he's unreal at times. But
that's the thing with me. I don't watch football unless it's Liverpool, and I've been criticised for it in the past. But if Liverpool are on, I'm watching. If there's a United City on, or sometimes if Everton are on, I'll have a watch just to make me appreciate how good we actually are. No, I'm joking. No, Everton will be on. Like, my wife's dad's a blue, my only uncle's a blues. Got a big blue side of the family. That's why I am the way I am with them. You know, I laugh and joke about them. I never wanted them to go down last season, the season before. But the way they behave when they stay up, it's possible that I wouldn't be too bothered if they do. But it's not looking good for them. Every time my wife comes in and there's the scores, and I say, "Oh, my poor dad," and his dad just numb to it all now, and my uncles and my mates even all blues. I messaged them now with like a laugh or a joke, and I don't even get a reply no more. It's like they don't even bite back. It's like they're just fighting for survival. But I think as a city, it'd be really bad for Everton and the city if they went down. So
I agree,
especially the new stadium. So all jokes aside, as friendly as the banter is with me, I wouldn't want to see them go down as such. But they're going to have a tough season this season. But again, you can't really see past City, in my opinion. I don't think anything's going to happen with them from winning the league. It's going to stop them from winning the league. Yeah. I watched Carragher and Ian Wright, Neville, and that, Roy Keane, and that. So, again, pains me to say it because I said about Gary Neville. I actually like Gary Neville, but I love Roy Keane. Being a former United player, I love Roy Keane. I love his attitude. I love seeing how he is on that show, on that overlap. It's brilliant. It is really good watching. The Benitez one was good. I enjoyed the Benitez one. That was really good.
I had it on in the car and driving back, and yeah, do you know what? It sort of hurts me half to say, because I'm a Liverpool fan, where I'm like, who's the best pundits? And I'm like, it's like, fuck. It's Roy Keane. Yeah. It is Neville. They are good. It hurts.
I love his attitude. I love some of the videos I've seen, and he goes, and you see the massage man, the man who gives the massage. And I'm laughing my head off because it's quite similar to boxing. And you see that in boxing, and all of a sudden there's a fellow who's been doing a bit of aesthetic condition, and then he's on top with his cap on with the towel over his shoulder in the corner, giving the fellow advice on boxing. But it's just hysterical how he says it. You know, he must have seen so much over the years. He's a proper wise head on all shoulders, and I love how he is, his attitude. He just doesn't give a shit. Does he? Like, Ian Wright's brilliant as well. I've always had a thing for Ian Wright. That soft spot is brilliant. I remember years ago before Arsenal at Palace, and that, you know what I mean? He broke our hearts in 1990, I think it was. But yeah, Ian Wright's brilliant as well. It's a really good show and a good format. That I like that. It's one of the very few podcasts that I'll watch.
Aye, 100%. Appreciate your time. Thank you for jumping on. We'll catch up soon.
No worries.
Thanks,
Matt. All the best, mate.
See you soon.